During the night on March 6th, the Hangzhou Spark came out and officially started their 2023 roster reveal process by adding Leave and Elsa to their 2023 roster. It's a little disappointing to not get every player at once. I'm sure the support line will be coming soon, but this is news that couldn't wait, Leaving Elsa to the Spark is a pretty huge deal. It's a minor thing, but it's worth noting that Elsa actually changed his name to 20. Not exactly sure why that is, but just know that will be his handle moving forward. But let's talk about what this means for the Hangzhou Spark. The big thing is, of course, Leave. This is what we've heard rumors about all off-season. It's something we've been excited about. This idea of Leave and Shy playing together just sounds really amazing and almost too good to be true. Some fans will wonder if this DPS duo is even possible. Can they coexist? Is it possible to have this much star power on one line without them getting in each other's way? And some people also might sit here and say, can Leave be that player that he once was in 2021? Because 2022 definitely was a letdown after his MVP season, but in all fairness, I think in his defense, he wasn't exactly playing on the greatest team. It wasn't easy to pop off consistently because his team was a lot weaker. They were struggling. There was so much uncertainty within the Chengdu organization in general. So with a fresh start and a better cast, I think Leave can definitely take that step back to where he once was. And even if he's not totally at that MVP form, he's surely still going to be an excellent flex DPS. There's no doubt about it. He is elite, one of the all-time greats, and now he's being paired up with Shy of all people, which just sounds ridiculous. They very well might be the two best players in the history of Chinese Overwatch, so that alone kind of tells you where a lot of people are going to stand. That is a lot of firepower. They're incredibly dangerous. Both of them can hold their own and equally share in the big pop-off moments, and you don't really need to have a third DPS with this type of combination. They give you basically everything you need just between the two of them as superstars / I guess former superstars if you're Leave. They're both insane players, And their hero pools, they might not match up 100% of the time. There could be metas where they aren't the absolute best, like in a heavy dive meta per se. But for the most part, they should hold their own. There's really no reason to believe that they won't, just because their skill ceiling is so high. They're so dangerous. Leave can flex onto so many different things. Shy is playing some of the best Overwatch we've ever seen from the Chinese region currently. There's just a lot going on for this DPS line, and you'd expect them to be capable of some really great things. Leave played a lot of hit scan last year, but the truth of the matter is, he can do both. He's a projectile and a hit scan guy. He can play dive. He gives you so much versatility, and it can make up for anything that Shy could be lacking in, as he'll carry more of the load in that instance. And that's what Shy has needed for a very long time. alexyOWL did a pretty good job at it last year, but obviously, there's a pretty big difference between Leave and alexyOWL in terms of overall ceiling. This is what I've been waiting for. This is the kind of guy that needs to line up next to Shy. A guy of his caliber. A person who can share that spotlight equally and be a superstar and help lead this team to something greater. Even with alexyOWL at certain points throughout last year, it felt like Shy was the one-man show. Let's just call it how it is. There were moments where he wasn't as strong. alexyOWL just couldn't always hang in there. The first half of the season in the playoffs, he did great, but there was some fall off from time to time, and it felt like all of the burden was suddenly going back to Shy. But with Leave, I'm not all that worried about that kind of thing anymore. It makes it so there's two guys you always have to account for, and that could make the Spark one of the scariest teams we've ever seen in the APAC region. Oh, and vice versa when it comes to Leave. The same thing applies, where he's never quite had a guy like Shy lining up next to him. Jinmu has been reliable throughout the years, but he does have his limitations with his hero pool and all that good stuff. Shy, though, you don't have to worry about that. The ceiling gets broken wide open with this type of duo. Leave has never had the pleasure of working with someone so good before, and that's going to make it so he also has a bit less pressure on him to perform. I'm digging it, man. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work out. There's always a possibility things flop in this league, but Shy Leave on paper could be one of the greatest DPS duos of all time. Some good news for Spark fans is right off the bat there could be some decent synergy with these two, as Leave and Shy are pretty familiar with each other already. They've played with each other during the World Cup days, and on top of that, everyone's going to be pretty familiar with each other. Gushui and Leave have played together, Elsa and Guxue and Shy and Leaf, they've all played together. It's like a Chengdu and Spark crossover. This is what I've been waiting for years. If you've been watching my channel since like 2020, you'd know that I really wished that Guxue and Leaf and all those guys would play together on Chengdu, but now it seems they're all coming to the Spark, which is fine too. Okay, how about we pivot over to Elsa, or I guess I should start saying 20, it feels weird to say that, but regardless, this one's a bit surprising. I don't think a lot of people saw this coming, and for good reason. Elsa retired during mid-season in 2021 when he was arguably playing the best Overwatch of his entire career. We knew that he had been dabbling with retirement beforehand, but to see him do it mid-season like that showed that he was probably done, he was really burnt out with the game, he needed to get away from it, but it would seem that after a season of taking some time off to recuperate, he's ready to get back out there and do something special on this Spark team. It's a little strange to see the Spark go with him over some of these other potential options of people who have really been grinding hard and looking decent in Chinese contenders, but 20 is someone that you know, someone that can be relied on. He's a veteran who has been in this league for many years. He's familiar with the guys on this roster. They've all been teammates before. It works out in your favor in a way, so it's really not that bad. It's just a matter of if 20 can pick up from where he left off mid-2021. It's not easy to replicate what you were doing after taking more than a season off. You know, you can grow soft during that time. The competition around you grows, and let's not forget that we've never seen 20 play in Overwatch 2 before. This is a big difference compared to Overwatch 1. We don't know how his style is going to work in that regard and how effective he can be as a tank player. It's never easy to say how good a guy will do after coming out of retirement and taking some time off. We've seen it happen in the past with mixed results. We're having that question about Birdring this offseason as well. It's something that's always going to follow you, and I'm curious to see if 20 can overcome those narratives and be that same player that he once was. He's definitely got a good opportunity to be fine. He's got an advantage compared to other guys who maybe come out of retirement and join a different team because he's already familiar with the coaching and the teammates around him. He has just about everything he needs to be right in his comfort zone. It's just a matter of if he can do it individually. And the good news for him is he's not going to be the only guy that's solely relied on at the tank position. It will very much depend on what compositions are being played. Him and Guxue are going to bounce off of each other, that much is certain. It's interesting to see these two reunite after the World Cup days. They seem to work pretty well in unison back then, and I'm expecting a lot of the same thing in 2023, as Guxue can cover all of your main tank responsibilities, plus like the Wrecking Ball, and then Elsa likely takes care of the rest. They work out very well. They do exactly what the opposite cannot do. And if 20 can play at a similar level to what we saw back in the day, I'm kind of excited about this tank line. Guxue ended 2022 on a really solid note. He looked a lot like his old self out there on the Winston. His confidence seems to be coming back. I'm liking this addition if everything goes according to plan. I think this tank line could have a good, solid veteran presence and chokehold over a lot of the APAC region. This team is comfortable and familiar with each other, and that right off the bat could give them a big-time advantage over a lot of these other teams over in the Eastern Conference. They all just feel like they've played together for so long. It literally feels like a Chinese World Cup team, you know? And I doubt the support line is going to change that. They'll probably just complement these guys even more, especially if the rumors of links on Monk coming here end up being true. The Hangzhou Spark are looking pretty good in 2023, and it's probably the most confident I felt about this group since 2019 in their very first year of existing. There's zero guarantee in this, but as of right now, the Spark are absolutely one of the favorites to be the #1 team in APAC. It's a very likable group so far, and they just have freaking Shy Leave, man. I can't get over how crazy it is that this is real life. These two together sound so insane that it should not even exist, and I could not be more excited to watch the Spark in 2023. This is going to be a lot of fun. But that's pretty much all I have to say on the Spark's current additions. The other ones should be coming rather soon, and I'll be sure to report on them the moment that it happens, but now I'm going to turn things over to you. What do you think about Leave and 20 joining the Hangzhou Spark? Are you excited? Do you think they're overrated? Give me all your thoughts down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, and you want to stay up to date with all things Overwatch League related, give this video a like, and subscribe to this channel if you're new. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.